Hello everybody, welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for Season 6 of Dexter. Now, as you know, if you've been following the channel, I have been reviewing all the seasons of Dexter's. I've just finished Season 6. Now, I think it's fair to say that after Season 4, many people believe that the show was on a steady decline, whereas I do agree with aspects of that. I don't necessarily subscribe to it either. I do think every season since Season 4 has had its strengths and weaknesses, and this season is no exception. Now, the overriding theme of Season 6 is religion. Now, that can be quite divisive for many people at the best stroke worst of times anyway. But I think the season, for me, this season didn't get off to a great start, and the reason why I say that is it's kind of, there's a gap of a year between Season 5 and Season 6 in regards to the characters and the story. So in between that year, a lot has happened. You know, LaGuerta and Batista have split up. Astra and Cody have gone, and we don't hear from them or anything about them for the whole season, which I think is a little bit odd. They've just kind of like, bye bye Astra and Cody. So it almost feels like the show is starting afresh, and I think it was quite blunt in how it just dropped some storylines, especially the LaGuerta and Batista thing and the Astra and Cody thing. It just felt a little bit odd. However, Season 6 focuses on Dexter. He's coping with himself, obviously being a single father. He's got a new nanny, Jamie, who is Batista's younger sister. Again, this is weak storytelling. Where did she turn up from? I don't remember hearing much about her previously. So she turns up now. She's now the nanny. And Dexter's doing his thing, still killing, doing what he does. And there is a new killer in town. The Doomsday Killer, as he is given the title of, and he's played by Colin Hanks, Tom Hanks' son, and Edward James Olmos is Professor Geller. And the idea is they want to bring about the end of the world by completing a number of tableaus, as they are called, to reenact like things in the Bible, so that the end of the world can begin, Doomsday can start. And it is up, obviously, to Dexter and Miami Metro PD to put a stop to all this. So that's the nemesis here for Dexter in Season 6. It's the Doomsday Killer, Tom Hanks, Edward James Olmos. Now, I like the seasons when he's pitted up against a serial killer. It always, I think, you know, can sometimes bring out the best in the show. We've seen that with the Ice Truck Killer. We've seen it with Trinity, obviously, and now the Doomsday Killer. Now, I really like the idea of the Doomsday Killer. I'm a big fan of Edward James Olmos. I was delighted to see him in the show. Colin Hanks, I thought, was a little bit miscast, if I'm being honest. And that's not me saying he was bad. I don't think he was bad. I thought, actually, his performance was okay for the most part. I just felt as though he was a little bit miscast. But I enjoyed the Doomsday Killer thing. I think some of the strengths in this season was Dexter's friendship with Brother Sam. And Brother Sam is this born-again Christian, you could say, who used to be a criminal. He killed someone. I think it was something like that anyway, yeah. And he like helps ex-cons now, and he's very religious. And initially Dexter doesn't think he's changed his ways and he's going to kill him, and then he realizes he has, and they end up becoming firm friends. And I really enjoyed that dynamic between Brother Sam and Dexter. But like I said, the overriding theme of this season is religion, and I think they push that theme too hard. There's religion in regards to Harrison, because Dexter wants to put him in like a religious nursery, if you like, because he's got a good reputation, but he's not religious himself, obviously. We've got the Doomsday Killer, which is very religious heavy. You've got this Brother Sam thing. I think they went over the top with this religious theme. You know, if you're going to go with a theme, at least be a little bit more subtle about it. But I did enjoy the relationship between Dexter and Brother Sam. Deb has a big season this season. Jennifer Carpenter, she breaks up with Quinn because he wants to get married and she's not interested in that, so they end up breaking up, and then she is given the lieutenant position after doing something heroic. She is given the post above Batista, which causes some friction. Not sure how I feel about the Deb in the lieutenant position. For me, it feels too soon. It feels like it was written for convenience for the show, but Jennifer Carpenter does a really good job, pulls it off, and she actually kind of makes that role her own in regards to the lieutenant role. I thought she did a decent job. Quinn has an odd season in the sense of he doesn't take the breakup with Deb particularly well. It sends him on a bit of a downward spiral. He keeps screwing up throughout the whole season. Sleeping with like a person of interest, and there's a couple of funny. I think the best thing for Quinn and Batista this season is they are made partners, and there's some really, really great moments with them as partners, arguing, and there's a scene where they get high in the car, and Batista's having a midlife crisis, so he buys this Trans Am. Obviously after his breakup with LaGuerta and not getting the lieutenant's position, he suffers quite a lot and struggles this season with some low points. But them two as a partnership was comedy gold at times. I thought that was a good move, even if I thought they handled the Batista character pretty poorly this season, and Quinn's to some degree. Vince Masuka gets a little bit of something to do this season. He's got some students that he has to work through, and he ends up with a really pretty one that steals some evidence, and then he ends up with, is it Lewis? You know, like the gamer guy who ends up having a bit of a feud with Dexter. Highlights episodes for me. I think my favourite episode this season was the one with Ronnie Cox, who played the Tooth Fairy, was he called? And if you remember Ronnie Cox, you know, from RoboCop, Total Recall, Beverly Hills Cop, great actor. He plays like a retired serial killer that tries to relive some of his old glories, and he does it quite clumsily, and he was a bit of a hero of Dexter's when Dexter was younger. He followed all the Tooth Fairy killings and stuff when he was younger. I thought that was a really, really good episode. I really enjoyed that episode. I enjoyed the early episodes with the Brother Sam stuff. I thought they were quite good, the dynamics there, and I really quite enjoyed the stuff with Colin Hanks and Edward James Olmos, you know, the back and forth between them, and then the big twist and reveal later, which I don't want to talk about, just in case you haven't seen this season, these Dexter, and you're watching my reviews, you know, to try and get your interest up to watch the show. The twist that's revealed later between Colin Hanks' character and Edward James Olmos, I didn't see coming the first time around first time I saw this show, and I thought that was a really good twist, and it added another layer to the Colin Hanks character. But I do think it was overall a decent season with some problems, as I've mentioned. I always like it when there's a big serial killer involved in the show, and I thought this was no exception. I like the Doomsday Killer. I like that dynamic. I thought the religious theme was a little bit over the top at times, and obviously the finale between Dexter and Deb, and again I don't want to blow that in case you haven't seen it, was brilliant, and I love it when these seasons end with a big cliffhanger. At the time it would have been murder if you were watching it at the time, and you saw the end of this, and you're thinking, I've got a year to wait to find out what happens next. I mean, thankfully, we don't have to anymore. We can just put the next episode on. But I'm going to give this season an 8 out of 10. I do think it was a good season still. There were some high points, but obviously there were still some problems with this season. So on to season 7 now. So I will get that review up as soon as I finish watching the season. I hope you're enjoying these reviews of Dexter. Thank you very much for watching, and of course I will be back with more reviews and content on Screen Stars very, very soon.